Hi, this is Ray Naylor, and this is a performing songwriter. My guest today via Skype is Bernice Lewis from Massachusetts. She has 4 decades of performing, including being the featured performer on PBS's Mountain Stage and the Kennedy Center, as well as finalist in the Kerrville Folk Festival's New Folk Songwriting Contest. Roseanne Cash said, Bernice is a voice full of light and hope. She is one of the keepers of the flame of real songwriting. Well, welcome, Bernice, and thank you very much for being on the Performing Songwriter today.
Well, thank you, Ray. Thanks for inviting me.
I wanted to ask you before we really got started. You've been performing for quite a number of years.
Too many decades.
How do you keep going? I guess is my question.
Oh, it's a really good question. I mean, I guess it's definitely a one moment at a time thing. There are times when it's easy and something good has happened and I just, I'm excited about it. And other times where I just kind of slog through with one foot in front of the other, probably like anyone in life. I mean, I do on occasion remind myself, for better or for worse, what a privilege it is to be a performing artist at any level. That every time I stop to give someone a toll on the thruway, I think about how lucky I am to have this lifestyle. And I often make this joke, but it's really true to my friends that I make about the same amount of money as if I worked full time at like a gas station convenience store. But I don't. I don't do that. I do this wonderful thing where I get to express myself and connect with a lot of people on a very genuine level, and then also get to nurture and mentor the next generation of writers and performers. And so those are amazing activities, all of them. Sometimes discouraging, for all the same reasons other songwriters whine about. But nonetheless, it's a choice we all make that we could walk away from. I mean, most of us have college educations and the capacity to do something else. And we continue, many of us, not everyone, continues to choose this. At this point in life, I do realize that I've outrun a lot of people. I'm just lucky that I've been able to just keep going. Some mornings I wonder why I do it, but I also at this point in life realized that it would be crazy to abandon it. That there used to be a period of time where I would stare at the ceiling and think about all the other things I could do. And then I kind of woke up one day and dope slapped myself and was sort of like, well, you're not in your 20s or 30s anymore. What's the point of trying to create something new? I mean, why not? If I didn't enjoy a lot of this, I mean, people always say how wonderful it must be to love what I do, but there's many parts of it that I don't love. I don't love the long distance driving, and I don't love all the office work, and I certainly don't love the grant writing and the publicity end, but I sure love the connecting, and I'm grateful to be able to be a writer.
Okay, Bernice, you are a songwriting teacher in addition to everything else, and I thought I'd ask you, do you find that songwriters tend to make certain mistakes over again, and what, in terms of their writing? And if so, what would some of those kind of mistakes be? Things that they and things that they should think about to kind of correct any of those type of things.
And I think the biggest overall thing that songwriters and probably writers of all kinds, and maybe even artists of all kinds do, is hold on desperately, to something that they created, even in the face of consistent feedback that it's not working. That killing your little darlings thing that Hemingway, I think it was Hemingway, talked about. That right there, and I even do it, is the hardest thing, to sort of have something that technically works but doesn't work in the place you've put it in. And that's very difficult to teach somebody. They'll argue up one side and down the other for keeping it. And in the face of not just my feedback, because I'm only one person, but a whole group of people, they'll still argue with them when it's as clear as day. The second thing, which is maybe a little less or related even, is the sort of the desire to go long. I think a lot of beginning writers go too long, and then there's some cutting involved, and people get very attached. The other big mistake a lot of beginning songwriters make is ignoring form. Form is incredibly important, and I think it's not a different form from pop or Americana or blues or jazz. I think that form has been refined over time based on the way we absorb the music, and it's evolved based on our attention spans and our physiology. And so ignoring it will cause the listeners to check out. It will confuse them. So one of the other big mistakes, and I didn't mention it because to me it's such a big mistake that I try to nip it in the bud as quickly as possible, is the need to have more than one chorus, or put the bridge before the second chorus, because when you do that, it's not a bridge. It confuses people. I think the best way to keep anything interesting is to figure out what you're trying to say ahead of time, or while you're in the process, and just to know where you're going with your story, even if the story is just "I love you."
Okay. We're going to hear a couple of your songs.
Oh, great! I'm going to have to play them, aren't I?
Yes, you're going to have to play them.
All right, I can do that, right? Once you get all the technology together, it's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Once we had a few little problems here and there, but we got it together.
Always. So I have a new album. I thought I would play some songs from my new album. It's called the new album's called Checks and Love Letters.
She will learn how to read from her teachers at school, and the kids on the playground will show her how to be cool. She'll learn red from blue, how to tie her shoe, and God knows what she'll learn on the bus. But she's gonna learn. She's gonna learn how to love from us. She'll see mayhem and war on the television screen. We can't tell her what they're for. We can't tell her what they mean. But when we're loud, when we act too proud, when we argue and fuss, she's gonna learn. She's gonna learn how to love from us. She's got so much to teach us about how the world is gonna change. She's our link to a future that seems so distant and strange. One day she'll go off to college. She'll be so far away, and some man with a plan says, I love you, baby. What's she gonna say? How will she know? Love is so much more than roses and lust. She's gonna learn. She's gonna learn how to love from us. in a phase. I dated boys that were always very nice. Off to college 4.0, there wasn't anywhere I couldn't go. Followed my professor's good advice. So I'm hoping that you'll understand. I wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. I just wanna be in the band. Or a jazz progression after midnight recording session. Anywhere that you think I might fit. Katy Perry or Madonna, heavy metal if you wanna. You could put me in behind the kit. I play free bird on demand. I wanna be in the band. I just wanna be in the band. If you ask me really nicely, I might sleep with you. I dye my hair, I shave my legs. Just don't make me get a tattoo. Country music, as long as it's Reba, Harmony, whore, or pampered diva. Strauss, Stravinsky, Beethoven, or Bach. Cape Breton fiddle music, why find it when you can lose it? Dubstep, punk, or even classic rock. It's my new retirement plan. I wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. I just wanna be in the band. I wanna be in the band. Ray, you wanna be in the band?
I have a hard enough time myself remembering the words.
I have no idea what you're saying, so I'll take that as a yes. Y'all want to be in the band, right?
So anyway, for those of you that have not seen my tutorial on how to promote your music on the internet using video, check it out on my YouTube page, Ray Naylor. And then in about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to start a weekly 5 to 7 minute tutorial on a whole bunch of things having to do with promoting your music. A lot of it will be on video, on YouTube, but also in other areas. So hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can get announcements of all the videos. Okay, Bernice, I was going to ask you about that last song.
I want to be in the band.
Have you been in a band?
Yeah, and I'm in a couple bands. Here at home. It's impossible financially to tour them, you know, and it's very difficult to hold things together. I live in a rural area, and you know, I haven't had the same bass player for 20 years, but other than that, there's a cast of rotating people. I've actually had the same drummer now for quite a while. And then I have an all-women's ukulele band that's also been kind of rotational. I I was recruited into it, and now I'm the only founding member. But we perform and we practice, and we do some workshops, and we put on some festivals here at home. So yeah, that's two bands. And then most recently, I have a 16-year-old daughter that I've been doing a lot of performing with for about the last year or two as both a duo, and she's in the Ladies Auxiliary Ukulele Orchestra, and she also works with my bass player. So there's some overlap there.
Great.
I like playing with other people. I don't like the logistics of trying to pull it all together.
Gotcha.
Really hard.
I know what you're saying. I want to talk about our performing topic today. Now, you've played in all size venues, from coffee houses to house concerts to concert halls. For example, as I mentioned in my introduction, you've been at the PBS's Mountain Stage, and also you played at Kennedy Center and other places, I'm sure. And I would say most of us songwriters play in smaller, maybe moderately large rooms. But as someone who has played in really concert halls and festivals, is there a difference in how you prepare for that? Any difference when you're on stage about how you might relate to a big audience as opposed to, let's say, a coffee house?
I still feel like the largest portion of my performing opportunities have been in the more intimate venues. And so I don't have I mean, that would be like a question for Dar Williams. She plays the big rooms a lot, and then the little rooms she's done plenty of. For me, the big rooms are an occasional thing. There's certainly some great advantages. I mean, you almost always have a really excellent sound situation, whereas in the smaller rooms, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. So you have to prepare yourself for that. For me, the inability to see past the first row of faces is a little bit, it's something I haven't done enough to really get used to, because there's something about the way you have to feel the room as opposed to visually seeing them. There have been times when I've found that to be freeing, because I can't see their faces, so I don't know what they're thinking. And there have been other times that I simply am terrified by the fact that I can't see their faces and I don't know what they're thinking. I think one thing's for sure is every room, every venue I've ever played has its own flavor, quirks, idiosyncrasies. Every audience, I mean, you can sort of tell sometimes just from the very first minute of performing whether you're going to be having a good time up there or going through your paces. Some individuals give great audience, and sometimes you can find someone like that in a room full of people that you can't read and focus on them, and they help you get through the set. Some parts of the country, you just feel a different sort of cultural embracement. I find New England to sometimes be a little tougher than Texas or the Southwest. People are a little more relaxed in those places. I think weather has a great influence on personality. So I don't have one answer. In terms of preparation, in general, for any venue, I have a little sort of ritual that I try to go through. Hopefully that I have enough time, that I've arrived with enough time to warm up my voice, create some kind of a set list, do a bit of a meditation that helps me kind of get centered when I'm out there. There's such a huge transition between not being on stage and stepping onto the stage. There's just this, it's easy to forget if you don't kind of remind yourself that you're going to make that transition. And then what,
So it sounds like what you're saying, one thing is you really have to be flexible, because you don't know what you're going to be facing unless you've been there before.
And even if you have been there before, yeah, you do. You have to be flexible. I think one of the things I say a lot when I'm teaching in my classes is that there's no substitute for stage time. Like they won't give an airline pilot or an airplane pilot a license unless they log hours. You can read all the books in the world, but you've got to be up in the air. And I think it's the same thing with the stage. It's like the more you're on stage, the more you kind of get a little seasoned as to what to do when you're up there. You know, because I personally don't have like a scripted thing that I do. I mean, I like to communicate with the audience. I like their feedback. I think Sean, oh gosh, I can't remember his name, but he was an agent at Fleming Tamulevich for a while, and he passed, but he was a wonderful friend. And he once said to me that the beauty of making a set list is that you have it if you need it, but if you're really comfortable on stage, you don't need a set list. You'll know what to do. The audience will be there with you. And
I saw Arla Guthrie once.
Sean Roach, sorry.
Right, I remember that name. Yeah, Arla Guthrie one time in Philadelphia in a concert hall, and at this one performance he played with a New York orchestra, and in his performance he said, "This is the first time I've had a set list since 1968." Yeah.
He's very much. He lives here where I live, and
really okay.
Yeah, and his band are. In fact, some of the people in his band play with me a lot. I get to use them. Even some before they were in the band, but he lives here, and I know from both talking to him and talking to the people that he works with, he is very much a fly by the seat of your pants kind of guy. He doesn't rehearse anybody. They don't know what's going to happen when they get on stage with him. They've all adjusted to it. He's a brilliant performer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to hear your last two songs. So.
Okay. All right then.
The screen is yours.
Excellent. I spend a lot of time in the Grand Canyon, so I have a lot of songs about it. And I actually did an artist residency for the Park Service there a couple years ago, so this is one of my Grand Canyons. So this is the title cut to my new album. It's a co-write with a lovely woman named Abby Tapia. for credit card offers than anyone needs, more magazines than I could ever read. Electric, gas, rent, trash, water, cable, internet. I haven't even opened my email yet. Instead of all this postal bull, I wanna open the mail. I find it full of checks and love letters. Checks and love letters. Hey now, wouldn't the world be a whole lot better if all we ever got were checks and love letters? I take baby announcements, birthday cards, pretty pictures of beaches with fond regards, handwritten invitations, rebates, refunds. Sign me up for Chocolate of the Month Club. If it were all up to me, I would cancel my subscription to reality. Send me checks and love letters. Checks and love letters. Hey now, wouldn't the world be a whole lot better if all we ever got were checks and love letters? Such an old-fashioned feeling to see my name written in ink on pretty colored paper. Well, it tickles me pink. If you wanna be my hero, just add a few more X's and zeros. Lots of time to write you checks and love letters. Checks and love letters. Hey now, wouldn't the world be a whole lot better if all we ever got were checks and love letters?
You had mentioned that you have a new album.
So I have a new album, and it's called Checks and Love Letters, and it's been released on a wonderful little singer-songwriter label out of Houston, Texas called Berkeley Records. And it was produced by Mike Lewis, not a relative of mine. He is in a wonderful duo out of Nashville called the Twangtown Paramours. And it's been great to have a new album. It's been 8 years for me. So it's exciting.
So people want to get your album, people want to see where you're performing. What's the best way to do that?
BerniceLewis.com, and they can sign up for my mailing list. My album and all my albums are on cdbaby.com, but you can get there through my website.
Okay, very good. Bernice, thank you very much for
Thank you, Ray.
being
It's
on
good
the
to
show.
visit with you. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, and so we will. Maybe we'll see you down in the Philadelphia area sometime.
I hope so. I get down there from time to time.
Great.
Yeah.
Super. Okay.
Alrighty.
Take it easy.
Take care. Yep.